What's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building, and y'all know I have been waiting all season long to bring this guest on the show because I got questions and I know she's got the answers. Okay, so if y'all are ready, okay, we're gonna welcome the beautiful, the talented, the closing attorney, okay, Miss Cristyl Kimbrough to the show. What's going on, Cristyl?
Going on? I've been waiting. You've been waiting. Now,
Now we are here. And so, listen, I want to start things off by asking some just general questions for you about what it means to be a closing attorney. Because, and I did talk to Tiffany earlier in the season, but this was something that I didn't even know existed when it came to closing. And does it exist in every state? How did you fall into this career path, or was it something that you knew that you wanted to do?
so I don't have some sexy story on how I ended up being a closing attorney. I was actually a legal intern at the Coca-Cola company, and my boss at the time introduced me to a colleague of hers who had her own real estate law practice. Long story short, rewrapped. As soon as I passed the bar, I started working for her firm. And then after like a year, I kind of arrogantly said, I can do this. So only after a year under my belt, I opened up my own practice. And here we are 9 years later.
That's pretty dope. I mean, and it's not that you even need a story. It's just I think for a lot of us, this is a career path we didn't even know about for me until I saw the show.
Yeah, because we do all the non-sexy stuff in the cut. And the only time you really hear from us is if something is wrong. So I'm so glad that Tiffany and I can be coming out like, hey, we're coming out of the closet. We're not some hidden secret.
Right.
Attorneys, and we're a key role in getting you to the table. So that's what we do.
Is that specific to Georgia, or is it something that is required around the country? I'm literally just starting my real estate journey, FYI. Okay, mostly from watching all of these shows, to be quite honest with you, because I just didn't know that there were so many paths you could go down. But for my clarification, is that something that is needed in every state?
No. Some states are what's called an attorney state, and some states are title states. So if you're buying real property, commercial or residential, you're either closing at a law office or a title company. Here's the thing. Most title companies employ attorneys. So they're under a different umbrella, but attorneys are somewhere in the mix at some point in the transaction. And in fact, we're expanding to Florida and Alabama. And so Florida, for instance, is a title state. So we're in the process of getting our title license, even though I'm a whole licensed Georgia attorney.
Gotcha. And when, your dad has been featured on the show. Did you get any of your real estate?
Wait a minute, give me more context. He's been featured how? Daddy, doing interviews on the side.
I mean, listen, this is no shade to y'all, but your dad's story is interesting. And I was like, can Alm please do like a little digital series following his real estate journey so we can learn too?
I'm fascinated by it as well. And I am trying to convince him to do a live with me. It was already a struggle getting him to come on the show because he's like me. He's like secretly fabulous. He's like low-key fabulous. And so I had to convince him to do the show. And now I'm trying to convince him to do a live because he did teach me everything that I know about business, the stock market, real estate. I mean, he kills it so effortlessly. So let me know if you want him on and I'll try to convince him.
Yeah, I would, because I just feel like the two of y'all could go out there and hear me out. Just listen to me, okay?
Okay.
Y'all could go out there and be this like father and daughter team that really teaches people about how to do real estate, how to get into real estate, and how to live off of what you do in real estate. I just was like so interested in that, especially just being Black and brown people, I just feel like these are things that we need to know.
They are, because it's about exposure. And so when you see someone that looks like you doing it, it now puts the possibility in your own realm and will eventually become your reality too. It's not so difficult. Anyone can do it. You just have to be consistent and be relentless.
I love that. So yes, please work that out with your father.
I will start massaging that.
Okay, so this show in particular, Ladies Who List on OWN, how did you become involved in the show?
So the show creator, this brilliant woman by the name of Monique Barrett, she actually already knew me and Tiana, my other castmate. So she approached Tiana and I, and this was like 3 years ago. And eventually, you know, after like, oh yeah, I think this person would be good, this person would be good. And then the network got their hands on it and they were like, okay, you know, we need to fine tune the cast. So they did what they did. And we ended up with the 6 of us. So this was actually 3 years in the making. And if I'm being totally honest, for the whole 3 years, I was like this, hoping that it wouldn't get greenlighted.
Why?
I'm pretty sure the network's going to call me and curse me out for saying that.
Oh, like, please don't curse her out.
Who wants to open up their lives? Like, who wants to do that? And being though I'm a business owner, I have a staff of like 13 people. I'm used to being in control. And now I have none. Who wants that for themselves?
But you know what you can control, though? You can control what you do from being on the show. So there's that.
Did you check my latest Instagram post? Closing _ Chris. I'm out here focused. You can say what you want, but I'm a businesswoman. And I'm going to make it make sense.
Here's the thing. People will have their opinions about things that happen and they see on the show, and they'll feel very passionately about it. But at the end of the day, at least for the community that I feel like I talk to, we may not like everything we see on the screen, but we still going to support. So I just think it opens.
You probably have more advice because I know you tune in to a lot of different shows and you talk with a lot of different talent. So you can probably offer me some advice because I had no idea these people get so passionate about complete strangers.
Yes. You know, here's the thing. You know, when you think about it like this, we are welcoming you into our lives, right? Because we're watching you every week and we become fascinated by it because we see, you know, 6 beautiful Black women who are living aspirational lifestyles. And even though there is conflict embedded in the show, the things that I feel like are positive are like the things that we saw with you and your dad. We now know what a closing attorney is. And we now know that someone who looks like us can be in that position and start our own brokerages and start our own companies. We can now see ourselves in you guys. So that to me, really, especially with a network like OWN, it trumps all the negative stuff, you know, and the people who feel passionately, I feel like you want them to be passionate because that means that we can follow you season after season after season.
Yeah. Well, so, I think
I look at it like that.
I think it depends. I want them to be passionate, but I'm getting all the smoke. So it's like, you don't know me.
I could tell you, but I could tell you one other thing from my experience. Next season, it'll be somebody else.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'll kind of go around. And listen, we got some questions for you with regards to some of the things that have happened on the show. But this is consider this space a safe space, a family space. I ain't gonna ask you nothing that's gonna take you off guard, but I will ask you things that maybe you could further elaborate on.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Deal.
Okay, cool.
Totally game.
Cool.
I can.
All right, cool. So let me ask you a question. When you and Robin, how long have you guys known each other?
Robin and I have known each other, I think, for like 6 years now. We weren't always friends for that 6 years. Like we just worked together for actually majority of that time. And it wasn't until the last maybe couple of years that we became close.
Okay. You guys have a very reality TV friendly friendship. And what I mean by that is you guys have these ups and downs that is just intriguing to watch. How do you in person navigate your relationship with Robin as you have maneuvered through being on TV with each other?
Exactly how you described it, like this. Let me just give this disclaimer. I have not watched the last 3 episodes. So I know what I filmed and I have an idea of what was aired, but I don't know the specifics.
Okay.
Because it just brings me too much anxiety. And for me, I'm a heavy boundary person.
Right.
So it's like if I can feel myself getting overwhelmed, then I'm going to step away and I'm going to listen to myself. But
Right.
and spare no, like I don't care if it's a national network television or work. I'm gonna put me first. So let me just say that as a disclaimer.
Right.
But I have an idea because the streets are talking, and some people will come back to me and be like, "I can't believe." So you know what? I think it's just like a sister kind of relationship where, I know Robin is a good person deep, 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 deep down. Very deep down, though. Very deep. And that I find myself missing that person that I know is deep, deep down inside of her. So the warm and fuzzies will come up for me when I can be remembered of that side of Robin. But then you have this other side of Robin that I'm learning about for the first time, that I don't understand at all. Because for me, no matter how I feel about you personally, I would never want to cause harm to you or see you fail, because that's just not how my mind processes and thinks. So to see Robin in that way is very surprising and it's hurtful. But I don't really share my hurt. I don't. I go to therapy. I work through my hurt, but Robin is much more vocal about hers.
Do you feel like you saw more of the other side that you didn't know of her once the show started filming?
What should I call you? Should I call you DJ? Should I call you? What should I call you?
Richie.
Richie. Okay. Listen. As soon as those cameras turned on, Robin was a person that I didn't know. And I don't know if it was the anxiety of the cameras or what, but the first episode, I don't know if you can remember, you see me kind of caught off guard almost a lot in my facial expressions, because we had 2 scenes where Robin flipped out at me prior to that dinner scene. And it was like, I was taken aback, I was shocked, I was confused, and we hadn't talked. So here comes this third scene that I'm shooting with Robin, which is the dinner scene. And what happened at the dinner happened at the dinner. And I'm just like, here we go again. I'm like at my wit's end at that point.
One of the things that I think I picked up on, and I don't think you picked up on this until later, was the word triggered. Because at first, as I was watching, I was like, oh my God, please do not say the word triggered to her. Okay. Because this is going down the wrong path. At what point did you realize that even saying that word was probably not going to work?
Richie, I didn't even realize it as I was saying it. So I don't know, again, if you can remember, but let's go back to the first episode. Robin and I are in my office, and Robin is spazzing out on me about something. I can't remember what exactly. And I say the word triggered again, well, for the first time. And I'm like, Robin, you're being triggered. Robin, you're being triggered. And I said it multiple times, and she didn't have an adverse reaction in that moment. And so, and for me, I'm just using the words that I hear about in my own experience in therapy. So I'm not, you see what I'm saying? It's like when you start going through therapy, you start recognizing different instances. And I am not a therapist, nor do I ever claim to be, but it's just, I didn't know how else to describe it because it was like an aha moment for me, having gone through and done the work myself. So I said it in that scene. She didn't really respond. And so I said it again at the dinner. And I think the combination of me saying it with her feeling ganged on, it was a catastrophe. It was an explosion. It was what you saw in, I think, episode 2. And, you know, of course, I wish I wouldn't have said the fucking word. Like, Cristyl, why couldn't you just shut up? Like, why couldn't you just shut up? First of all, the argument didn't even involve me. So I should have been minding my business the first time. And second of all, I was already good on Robin at that point because she had spazzed out on me twice already.
Right.
So I should have just minded my business, Richie. That's what I really should have done. So I hate that I did it. And, you know, you got what you got.
There was a moment in the show where Robin had mentioned something about her knowing an ex of yours or something like that. How does that play into all of this?
First of all, he is like one of the reasons why I needed to go to therapy.
Been there, done that.
We all have an ex that caused us to need therapy, okay? I know I'm unique in that way. But you know what's so unfortunate, Richie? I can't believe Robin thought, and I'm hoping she said this just for the cameras, but I can't believe she thought that I wanted to be her friend because I thought she was going to have sex with my man. Do you remember her saying that?
Yeah, that was what I was alluding to. I was trying to phrase it gently.
Soundbite, because again, I haven't watched the show, but it's just like, girl, what? You thought what? First of all, who do you think you are? There'd be no reason, you know what I mean, that I should be concerned with another woman. There's no reason. And why would I spend 6 years being associates or friends with a person simply because I think you're trying to have sex with my man? And thirdly, why would you be friends with me if you thought the only reason why I was being friends with you was because of a man? And so I just wish, you know, I see it for beyond what it is. I wish other people, the viewers, could see it for beyond what it is. But I'm not really given much grace in that way. And I guess it's because I use the word triggered and I've done X, Y, and Z, and I'm okay with that too. But it's just like, girl, bye.
You know, I will say this: reality TV is not going to always capture your best moments, but I think it's also what makes for a more interesting and well-rounded cast member to see the ups and downs. Like you show us your therapy session, which is something that is huge for a lot of people, especially in the Black community. So we have to commend you for that. So just for everything that you feel like, oh, they get me on this, know that there's an aspect that you're giving way more than you actually had to give, right?
I appreciate you saying that. I don't see it yet, but I appreciate you saying that.
I think down the line, I feel like you will see it then. Because right now, down the line. So I got to ask you a couple of other little things that I feel like the audience probably needs some more context on. Like the moment that you and Kira go out, well, not go out, but kind of have at your office when you ask for her business. A lot of people felt like, hey, how does this work given that she typically maybe closes with Tiffany more? What was your thinking in that moment?
My thinking was, I don't know Kira. I have known of Kira, but I don't know Kira. Now we're in this environment where we're around each other a lot. And I have a business and you have the ability to support my business, what business owner would not ask for business? And the environment of the real estate world is, it's not unusual to have multiple preferred closing attorneys.
Okay.
It is not uncommon. Richie, the reality of it is Tiffany doesn't care for me, and she felt slighted because I am, getting to know Kira, and Tiffany doesn't care for me. So naturally she wouldn't care for Kira supporting me. And I just think this just kind of highlights a bigger issue that we tend to have in our Black culture. In my experience, the environment is you can't support more than one Black person at a time. It's like you either have to choose this Black person or this Black person, because supporting both of them is just taboo or not, not what society encourages. And I call bullshit. And I don't care. Now, that act is one thing that I have no regrets on. Absolutely every entrepreneur, every business owner should ask for business. It's my duty to scale. I am the rainmaker. I don't work in my business. I don't work in my business. I work on my business. And a part of that is asking developers, asking brokers, and here and there, I'll ask individual agents, hey, you want to support Kimbrough? Why not?
I got a question here from the audience that I thought I forgot about, because this was seemingly what set a lot of the drama in motion with the Kira and the Robin situation. Why did you guys unfollow Kira? Was that addressed at all, or was that an unknown? Like, how does that work in this?
So
what happened?
I unfollowed Kira because, one, I didn't know her personally, and I just got tired of seeing so much real estate stuff in my news feed. I had no idea that Robin unfollowed Kira too. None.
Got it.
Like, I don't think Robin and I have ever even mentioned Kira's name between the two of us prior to the show. So it was a coincidence that Robin did what she did and I did what I did. And the reason why it wasn't such a big issue between me and Kira is because when Kira asked both of us that, I simply answered the question. I didn't get offended.
We didn't see that.
You didn't see it.
Okay. So this is one of those aspects where we can get some greater clarification on what happened, because it wasn't shown.
So Kira asked both of us at the same time why we unfollowed her, and she was upset about it. And for me, me personally, I don't keep up with who follows and unfollows me, but I'm going to always acknowledge your feelings. Right. And what I did wasn't intentionally to hurt you. And here's why I did it. And that was my answer. And then Robin responded, and Robin barked at her, and she snapped. So that's why Kira and Robin started going at it.
I got to ask you and Tiffany, y'all, can I tell you, this was one of the most fascinating psychological studies in sociology that I've ever seen on a reality TV show. That conversation, because you guys, what I realized at the end of the conversation is you guys have two totally different ideologies about how to mix and mingle within a social group.
Okay, enlighten me.
From my perspective, you, and I could be wrong, you tell me, and then we'll discuss. But from my perspective, you kind of have come into the situation, hey, we're going to be working together. We're going to be coming around each other. Let's meet in the middle, be cordial, be friends, or some type of coolness. Whereas she seemed to come at it like, I'm in this setting with you, but I don't really we don't have to interact with each other at all. Am I reading that correctly or not?
You're reading it correctly, except for the friend part.
Gotcha. Okay. What was your expectation for you guys in that conversation?
Richie, I know we don't know each other personally. I know the viewers out there tuning in don't know me personally, but I'm actually a friendly person. I don't bite like the show kind of makes me look like I may be. And
Well, I
so,
don't even think that though. To me, I feel like you would be somebody that would be fun to hang out with, but we'll discuss that in a second.
okay,
But yeah, go ahead.
um, so Tiffany and I have known of each other for years. I mean, since, I started before her. So since she started in real estate and we casually met at an attorney event, maybe like 7 years ago. So we have known of each other for 7 years. And we have been in certain social environments together because we've got mutual friends and mutual partners that we close with, like Kiana. So imagine, Richie, just walk with me in this story for an instance. Imagine knowing of someone for 7 years, never having a one-on-one sit-down conversation, and always feeling like this person is not really the friendliest towards you, and you don't know why, but you can sense this person is not Team Cristyl. And so for 7 years, it didn't faze me because we're not around each other. We don't have to be around each other. Even if we're in these social environments, it'll only be for a couple of hours at a time. And we're on opposite ends, usually at the table. So now that we're in this environment where we are around each other all the time, let's figure this thing out, because it's an energy that is so prevalent that anyone who's been around us acknowledges that there is something. I don't know what it is, but there is something. And so I was kind of hopeful that we could figure out what that something was so that we could at least be cordial. The times that I tried to start conversation with her just to be friendly, this is on camera. She cut it short. One word responses, didn't really have much to say. And I'm pretty sure the editing didn't show that because I'm the villain. But I was hoping that conversation would kind of hash out whatever this thing is. But she was totally defensive. She was very rude. She was a little bit of a mean girl in there too. And I'm just like, oh, okay. You don't want to be honest about your feelings. You want to act like, it's normal to, and keep in mind, only 1% of women, of lawyers are Black women. And then the percentage of how many closing attorneys is even less. Why wouldn't we know each other? Why wouldn't we have had a sit down? Like, to me, that was odd, but apparently not to her. But I tried, like you saw on the thing, but I won't try anymore. We're done here.
We know that there was we know that there's a reunion, okay?
Oh, they announced that.
No, I just know based on questions that I asked Tiana and Tiffany. I use my my context clues, right?
They weren't so give that away.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting everybody in trouble. Edit that out, y'all. So if there is a reunion, are you gonna address all of this?
Richie, listen. I can't be responsible for anything that actually gets aired. I don't know what's gonna get aired. I know everything that was said, but I don't know what's gonna get aired. So what I will do is come back on the show after the reunion airs, and I'll tell you what it really is.
Okay, we like that answer. We like that response.
All I do, I'm gonna say this as a cliffhanger too.
Okay.
What you'll see in the reunion, from what really happened, is Robin being Robin.
Uh-oh.
Tiana trying to be the neutral party, but still not neutral and still very much so not a fan of me. Tiffany, she loves to play like she is like the even kill peacemaker. So that's what you'll see her trying to do. And everyone else, you'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I want to leave it at that because we have got to have a part 2 after. If you have some time, if you have some time, maybe after, hopefully I'll try to schedule it or whatever. We can do a follow-up and discuss, because there were things that, and I don't want to hold you too long, because there was things that I wanted to ask. There's some projects that I know that you're working on. Can you tell us anything that you are working on right now that you want people to know about before we go?
Yeah, one of my passion projects is this thing that I do called Coffee with Counsel. And it's something that I donate for free to people we currently close with. And for people that don't currently close with us, you can schedule me for a session for money. And essentially, I am teaching everything you need to know about real estate law, but probably don't. Because the thing that sets a good agent apart from a great is knowledge. And I think the idea of contracts is kind of intimidating for a lot of people, because you got all these legalese, you got all this stuff you don't understand, and you feel you're approaching it as if it's some huge task to understand, and it's not. So I'm here to teach you and show you that you can know your contracts, because the more you know your contracts, the better agent you'll be, the better client you'll be able to secure, and the more success you'll have for your own business. So teaching is actually something that I am very passionate about. So Coffee with Counsel is something that we offer. And like I said before, we're expanding to Florida and Alabama. I want all the coins.
And we want you to get them. Listen, Cristyl, thank you so much for being such a good sport, for just opening yourself up like this. I think, again, what you will find, I think, in the long run is that this is going to be a lot more motivating for people in the long run to see you guys doing the things that you're doing. So I just want to say thank you for that, and just for being beautiful and having such good energy. And I just appreciate you for coming through today and just chopping it up. I mean, I hope it wasn't too painful. But you know what? We appreciate you. And can you tell us where we can find everything Cristyl Kimbrough?
Yes. So please keep up with me. I'm constantly sharing nuggets of knowledge for free on my social media platforms. And you can find me at closingattorney_Chris, CRIS, on all social platforms. And also my law firm, we're lit too. Kimbrough Law LLC on all social media platforms. And reach out to me, share love and light with me. If you have some constructive criticism, I don't want it.
Y'all, I will place all of Crystyl's links down in the description of this video so you guys can have that and run with it. And Cristyl, thank you so much for taking out the time. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate your time. You were amazing. And that smile doesn't hurt either.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Skye Squad, listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for your questions. We appreciate you. And I will catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.